What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the top 20 manga cards in One Piece, talk a little bit about some of the cards that were moving up, some that were moving down, some staying the same. We'll start off with the Gold Roger. Obviously, it's the most expensive manga card out there right now. I think it was down like half a percentage point over the past month. And again, I look at TCG Player, which is probably not the best place when we look at individual raw cards, just because they don't sell super often on the platform, especially the more expensive manga cards, but either way, it's staying pretty stagnant around $3,000. And then the Luffy from OPO5, this is the second most expensive manga currently, and I believe it was down about a percentage point over the past month. If we bring up the 1 month chart here, I think there was only a couple sales on this card. That said, when we look at the PSA 10s that do sell on eBay, they have been fairly stagnant over the past month, so I think this is pretty accurate when we look at the raw price. Now, a couple manga cards are continuing to move up. The most notable one I think is probably going to be the 2020 Chopper from the Memorial Collection, EBO1. This is the fifth most expensive manga card if we don't include the PRBO1 Luffy reprint. And you can see here, if you look at the graph, this has been moving up since about the middle of March, just constantly pushing higher. It's now about $855 on TCG Player, but most recent sales are $950, and that was actually today, September 7th. And then before then, we had a PSA 10 sell on the platform, $1,200. Before that, August 10th, there was a sale at $900. Before that, another at $890. So I think that this is going to continue pushing higher towards $900, and who knows, maybe it'll hit $1,000. Honestly, because this card is coming from the Extra Booster 01 that didn't have a massive print run, there really is a possibility that this becomes $1,000+ raw manga card. So keep an eye on the Chopper. Now after that, the Shanks from OPO1, I think this was up like 0.75% or something like that over the past month. Obviously, this isn't a crazy gain or anything, but I think it's important to note that there were a few more sales than normal on this card over the past couple weeks. And if we look at the 1 year chart, it's getting close to probably where people believe it's going to bottom out around $790, the original manga card in One Piece. And you can see it's already starting to move back up. The most recent sale, $850 from today. Before that, a sale yesterday at BGS 9.5 sold for $1,250. And then I believe the same day, September 6th, so two of them sold BGS 9.5. Might be the same card that sold twice. And then before that, $1,000 raw, $950 raw. So it looks like this card is on its way back up. Now, a card that might surprise you is actually the Ace manga from Paramount War. This is a card that I think over the past month was up the most compared to the top 20 mangas, like 3-point-something percent, 3.44%. And the PSA 10, the most recent sale, I believe was $1,400 USD. So the PSA 10 on this Ace card is very, very expensive. Again, like a lot of these earlier mangas, it has been going down for most of the past year, but it kind of seems like it's bottomed out at this point. People are thinking that, $650, $660 for this card is a pretty decent deal. And most recent sales, $900 from September 2nd. On the first, there was a sale at $890. Before that, $850, $713 is a bit of an outlier back in July. But the three most recent sales, you're getting close to like an $870-ish average. So keep an eye on this Ace. I think it's going to continue to move back up into 2026. Now, the Zoro, I know this is the PRBO1 reprint, and I don't actually track the reprinted mangas from PRBO1. The only manga we track from PRBO1 is the Nami. But I did want to throw it in this video because this card has been steadily climbing since the release of PRBO1. Out the gate, it was like a $375, $400 card back in December. We're now sitting around $630-ish. And the most recent sale, $650, $650, $655 approximately. And that's over the past like 3 weeks or so. I will note the most recent PSA 10 sale on this card was $1,300. And last time I did the spreadsheet update, the most recent sale on that day was I think like $950 USD. And I think that one was a little bit lower than market average, but it does seem like the Zoro is moving up with a lot of these other manga cards. We did also have a new entry to the list this week in the top 20, the Jewelry Bonnie manga from OP12 Legacy of the Master, currently sitting around $420. That said, it does seem like this card is continuing to move down. If we look at most recent sales on TCG Player, 361.28 from yesterday, another one at 350, before that 375, 374. So I think when I do this update next month, this card's probably not, I think it was ranked 16th or something. It might not even be in the top 20 next month. Now, could it beat out something like the Soga King or the Sabo, whichever one was 19th or 20th? Yeah, I think it's still possible, but it doesn't really seem like this is going to be a $500, $600, $700 manga at this point. Again, like that could change in the future, but in the short term, I just do not see that happening. Now, outside of that, really not too much to talk about when it comes to these manga cards. Most of them were fairly flat, really only up or down like a couple percentage points, nothing crazy. The buggy was up another couple percentage points, but not too much to talk about there. One thing I will say and announce in this video is that if you guys are in the spreadsheet, you can go look at all the data, but I am considering doing this now for the alternate art and parallel cards, excluding the mangas, do like a top 20 ranking. So stick with me as I kind of explain this. And if you guys have any recommendations for this, let me know in the comments down below. But I was considering if I do this just for the alt arts and parallels, it would basically go like this. I'd have to jump back and forth on TCG Player because when you search one of the terms, some of the other cards don't show up. So I would look for the most expensive one, which currently would be the Luffy. And then after that, I believe the most expensive alt art would be this Luffy at 279. But in the parallels, we have the Zoro at 287. So that would be like number 2. And then it would jump back to this Luffy. And I just have to go back and forth to find the top 20 values. Another list I was potentially considering doing is like a top 20 SPs in One Piece. And again, this would just go based off the TCG Player SP markings, or also just doing like a top 20 most expensive cards in One Piece that you can pull from a booster box that aren't manga. So this way it would go basically like the Luffy alt art from 05, then you would throw in the gold SP. After that, we'd have the gold Marshall DT, or excuse me, the gold SP would be number 1, the alt Luffy would be 2, then the silver Luffy, then the gold Blackbeard would be 4, and we just go down the list until we have all of them. This way, I think on the second page, we'd also have like the Gold Dawn Zoro in there. There might be like a couple other Gold Dawns that would make the list. So if you guys are in the spreadsheet and you want to give your recommendation on how I should do it, definitely leave a comment down below. I might even just split it into 2 or 3 updates in the month because I do have a couple days where I could potentially add in a ranking. Ultimately, my goal is just to do a better job tracking all the cards in One Piece. I really don't like that a lot of these platforms only have sales data for 1 year. After that, you're kind of in the dark on what happened before that. In Pokemon, you can put your card into like Pokedata or I think like Pokefish. There's a couple sites, but in One Piece, there really isn't a website yet that's tracking long-term data. And ultimately, my goal is to provide a resource for people to look at sales data and view the trends, whether it's in One Piece or Pokemon, just learn from that long-term and apply that to their investing. But with that said, thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you did get some value out of this content, I'd really appreciate if you leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. It helps out a ton. Leave a comment down below for the algorithm. Also, if you are shopping eBay, TCG Player, Hobbiesville, I have affiliate links down below. They're free and easy to use. All you have to do is click on it before you do your shopping. I get a small percentage of whatever sale at no extra cost to you. So it's a free and easy way to support me continuing to make these videos for you guys. But with all that said, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe wherever you are in the world. Have a great week, and I'll catch you in the next one.